As Michael Cole said, the WrestleMania 40 press conference had so much hype and controversy surrounding it that it really did feel like a premium live event itself. So we'll check out all of the new things that came from the event, as well as what's going on with Bayley, Damage CTRL, and more. Starting things off with what happened to be an early confirmation of a big WrestleMania 40 match. WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley came out to address the crowd at the press conference and address some WrestleMania matters. Rhea talked about how Bayley picking Iyo Sky was the right decision, because how Bayley wouldn't stand a chance against her. But strangely enough, Rhea ended up getting interrupted by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley had an intense face-off, with Becky telling Rhea that she'll win the Elimination Chamber match and will be waiting for her at WrestleMania if Rhea could get past Nia Jax. No matter who ends up qualifying for the Women's Elimination Chamber match, a majority of fans believe that Becky Lynch will easily pick up the big win. And the fact that they literally had a Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley stare down at the WrestleMania 40 press conference appears to basically be full confirmation by WWE that Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch is in fact happening at WrestleMania 40. So with Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley and Bayley versus Iyo Sky both taking place at WrestleMania, both women's titles will have some pretty big matches behind them at the grandest stage of the year. A very popular topic of discussion in recent weeks that has been touched on by Bayley herself is the lack of WrestleMania promotional material for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Bayley. If you take a look at the WrestleMania press conference, for example, you had 3 women featured at the event. You had Rhea Ripley, who's understandably there because she's the Women's World Champion. But then you had Becky Lynch, who yes, everyone knows will be facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, but as of this very moment in time, Becky technically doesn't have a WrestleMania match booked. So when you look at it like that, what is she doing there? Then you had Bianca Belair at the event as well, who also had no WrestleMania match officially booked at this time. Meanwhile, you had the actual Royal Rumble winner, who has a championship match at WrestleMania 40 already booked and locked in, yet Bayley wasn't even in town for the press conference. So that's something that definitely has caught the attention of a lot of fans. Even after the WrestleMania press conference ended, CM Punk took to Instagram from the airport to talk about how he wanted to make sure that everyone didn't forget what Bayley did. That she did win the Royal Rumble match and will have a championship match at WrestleMania. Punk mentioned how Bayley's face isn't on any of the WrestleMania 40 promotional material, despite the fact that Bayley versus Iyo literally was the first match officially booked for the event on WWE television. Punk even took to Instagram to post several photoshopped WrestleMania press conference graphics that featured Bayley's face. And that's something that CM Punk could heavily be related to because he went through the exact same thing over a decade ago. Punk was at the top of the card in the main event championship matches, but he wasn't really receiving that poster boy treatment and was taking the backseat to other stars. So he feels for Bayley and thinks that the company and fans need to shine more light on the fact that Bayley just had a historic Royal Rumble win, and it's not really getting the coverage or attention that it should be getting. But speaking of Bayley, let's dive back into the latest events of Damage CTRL's storyline on Smackdown. Bayley came out on the February 9th edition to make what was officially her first babyface entrance since late 2019. The fans were all on Bayley's side and she thanked them for always sticking by her. She explained how Damage CTRL was everything to her and how she always put them first. And that's all true. Bayley has said in many interviews that she had pitched the idea and concept of Damage CTRL many times over the years, but it never came to be until Triple H took over. And despite Bayley trying to capture the Raw Women's title when she first came back in 2022, she really did always put the group first and always made sure she put them on the map and took the back seat, especially as time went on. Bayley says that all the group ended up doing in the end was just taking everything from her. Bayley mentioned how she thought her amazing performance at the Royal Rumble and winning the whole thing would really fix her status within the group and prove herself to them, but that all they did was continue to laugh at her. Bayley mentioned how she's been in similar situations over the years and how she should know better by now. Most likely a reference to her past tag teams with individuals like Sasha Banks. Dakota Kai came out to the ring and said she missed Bayley's WrestleMania decision because she had a doctor's appointment, due to how close it is to getting clearance to compete again. Bayley pointed out how Dakota Kai was always laughing and joking with the whole group, but Dakota insists that she had nothing to do with her scheme. She claims that everything was fine until Asuka and Kairi joined and started messing with Iyo's head. Dakota Kai brought up how Bayley was always her mentor and how she would never be against her. Bayley flat out asked Dakota Kai about where she stood at, but they got interrupted by the remaining Damage CTRL members. Dakota Kai went out to the ring, grabbed a chair, looked like she was going to hit Bayley, but Dakota Kai ended up chasing after Iyo Sky. It wasn't a full-on contact moment, but the fact that Dakota Kai is getting a bit more involved in physical segments like this is a good telling sign about her upcoming appearance. Dakota Kai's side is picked. She selects Bayley's side and they walk out together, with Dakota Kai even tweeting out, "Bay-Coda forever." But the fans aren't buying it. They're still very suspicious of Dakota Kai, considering everything we've seen so far. Bayley is right. Dakota Kai was mostly laughing and always with the Damage CTRL members over the last few weeks, before often coming over and trying to manipulate Bayley in another direction. So fans are highly suspicious that Dakota Kai's loyalty is still to Iyo and Damage CTRL, and that her siding with Bayley will be short-lived. They did mention and reference Dakota's clearance in this segment and how it was close to happening. So that itself could be a massive foreshadowing clue that Dakota Kai will reveal her full clearance in a major story-changing moment that's coming up, potentially her betraying Bayley. And that maybe could work because it would build even more empathy for Bayley. She got betrayed by her main friends. Thought she had one loyal friend left, but even she leaves Bayley's side as well. So that really puts all the odds against Bayley and makes all the fans really feel for her. So if the fans' suspicion is right, it'll be interesting to see where does that big moment of Dakota Kai's betrayal come at. Does it happen after a few weeks have gone by on Smackdown? Do they save it for WrestleMania itself? Something big definitely has to be happening there because Dakota Kai was left out of the big betrayal moment for a reason. So even though she looks like she's picked a side already, it doesn't look like it's over. There's still something yet to come from Dakota Kai. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.